Let's see what we got. What we got. Killer realizes he's been caught 40 years later.
I'm with the Cedar Rapids Police Department.
Oh, yeah.
This is
I love
JD.
ones like
Hi.
this.
Hi.
He's with me. Hey, can we chat with you for a second about
Sure.
a case we're working on?
Sure.
This is Jerry Burns, a quiet
Oh,
Iowa
they say that boy name was Hank. I'm about to say it. Usually it's a nigga, a white boy named
businessman,
Hank.
a husband, a father of three, and for nearly 40 years, no one ever suspected him of murder. In December of 1979, 18-year-old Michelle Martinko was brutally killed in the parking lot of a shopping mall in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. The case terrified a city and then went cold.
Michelle Martinko.
Man, I thought this would have been a kidnapping, raped, and all that type of shit, but in the parking lot was like,
That's
had
something
to
you've
be
ever heard of?
spread of the moment.
Okay.
English
Did you
shit.
see it in the paper or anything like that?
No.
For decades, the police had no suspect, no fingerprints, and no answers. Boyfriends were blamed. Innocent lives were shadowed by suspicion. And the real killer lived freely, untouched, convinced he had gotten away with it. But time changes everything. Science evolves. And when
Right.
traditional policing fails, sometimes it only takes one piece of forgotten evidence and one detective who refuses to let go to bring a killer back into the light. This is the story of how a murder hidden for nearly half a century was finally exposed, and how the past came back to claim its truth. On December 19, 1979, Michelle Martino was an 18-year-old high school senior. Impossible to miss, with big blonde hair and a presence that stood out. Friends and family say she was
One of them
striking,
old school-ass
smart,
pictures.
and deeply kind.
Well, this is back in the day, so.
After attending her choir banquet, Michelle went to the newly opened Westdale Mall with friends. She left shortly before it closed at 10 p.m. In the dark parking lot, someone snuck up, opened her door, and stabbed her 29 times.
Damn, for no reason? It's crazy.
Michelle Martinko wasn't targeted for who she was. She was targeted because she was there. Investigators looked at several possible motives. Robbery? No. Her purse and valuables were left behind. Sexual assault? No, the autopsy confirmed she was not sexually assaulted. With no theft and no sexual assault, the attack appeared random, a tragic encounter that would confound investigators for decades.
She was stabbed,
That would
cut,
sound
a
random.
total of 29 times.
Pretty sure it's
It
not.
looks
That
personal.
29 times is crazy.
It's
I
a
thought they
lot of
said like one
stab wounds.
time. You said
It's
stab
overkill.
wound.
In the hours after Michelle Martinko was murdered, police were working with almost nothing. No witnesses, no clear motive, no obvious suspect. So investigators did what they always do first. They looked at the people closest to her. Michelle had been dating, and detectives began working through her relationships one by one. One former boyfriend, Mike Wyrick,
I was about to say, don't tell me the nigga who stabbed her was an old boyfriend.
was
Oh,
questioned
oh.
early, but he was more than 100 miles away at college and was quickly ruled out. That narrowed the focus. Andy Siddell was
Gotta just
Michelle
stalk her.
Martinko's most recent boyfriend, and they had broken up not long before her death. Friends described Andy as possessive, and in a case like this, that immediately raised concern.
I was about to
Andy
say,
told police that after the mall closed, he went straight home. His mother confirmed he was there that night. Police scrutinized Andy
it was him.
closely, but despite the suspicion, they couldn't place him at the scene. His alibi held. After Michelle Martinko's murder, investigators chased every lead, questioning friends, family, and anyone connected to her. But as the years passed, clues ran out. By 1986, the case had gone cold, leaving both investigators frustrated and Michelle's family desperate for answers. Decades of uncertainty followed, with the community haunted by a murder that seemed unsolvable. Michelle's parents never lived to see justice. Her father, Albert Martinko, died in 1995, 16 years after her murder. Her mother, Janet, followed in 1998, nearly 2 decades before an arrest was ever made. They spent the rest of their lives searching for answers they never found. They died never knowing who killed their daughter. In 2005, a new team stepped in to take another look at Michelle's case. Led by Detective Doug Larison, a seasoned investigator who had grown up in Cedar Rapids and never stopped thinking about Michelle Martinko's murder. Larison went back through the preserved evidence, including Michelle's dress and the blood-soaked gear shift from her car. With advances in DNA technology, he decided to send those old samples for modern testing. The results were striking. They produced a male DNA profile, something investigators had never had before. For the first time in decades, the case had something real, a biological lead. With a male DNA profile finally in hand, investigators moved fast. They entered it into CODIS, the National DNA Database. But CODIS only works if the person is already in the system. There was no match, so police tested people who had been suspects over the years. More than 100 local DNA samples were collected. One of them was Andy Siddell, Michelle's former boyfriend. The result was clear. Andy Siddell was cleared by DNA. Once again, the case hit a wall. By 2015, the investigation took a decisive turn. Matt Denlinger, the son of retired Cedar Rapids detective Harvey Denlinger, began working closely with investigators to re-examine the case using tools that hadn't existed decades earlier. Working out of his office, Matt focused on the DNA itself, not just to find a match, but to understand who the DNA belonged to. Using DNA phenotyping, scientists analyzed the genetic profile and began to build a physical description of the suspect. The results suggested a white male with blonde hair and blue eyes. Based on that data, multiple computer-generated sketches were created, offering investigators their first glimpse of what the killer might have looked like. But the real breakthrough came next. Through a public genealogy database called GEDmatch, investigators identified a distant relative connected to the DNA, a woman named Brandy Jennings. From there, genealogists began building a family tree, working backward through generations. That process narrowed the search to 3 brothers from Iowa. For the first time in more than 30 years, the investigation wasn't chasing guesses. It was closing in on a family. After months of painstaking work building a family tree and tracking potential relatives, investigators collected DNA from the 3 Iowa brothers most closely related to the blood found on Michelle Martinko. Only Jerry Burns matched. For the first time in over 40 years, the team had a living suspect linked to her murder. On December 19, 2018, exactly 39 years after Michelle Martinko's murder, investigators went to Jerry Burns' business to confront him, a seemingly ordinary Iowa man with no criminal record. A husband, father, and local businessman, Burns had lived his life under no public suspicion until that day. Detective Matt Denlinger presented the DNA evidence linking him to the crime scene, beginning the first face-to-face questioning of the man whose blood had finally cracked this decades-old mystery.
Damn, yo, my bad, man.
On December 19, 2018, exactly 39 years after Michelle Martinko's murder, investigators went to Jerry Burns' business to confront him, a seemingly ordinary Iowa man with no criminal record. A husband, father, and local businessman, Burns had lived his life under no public suspicion until that day. Detective Matt Denlinger presented the DNA evidence linking him to the crime scene, beginning the first face-to-face questioning of the man whose blood had finally cracked this decades-old mystery.
Jerry, my name's Matt. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Hey, I'm from Cedar Rapids Police Department.
Oh, yeah.
This is JD.
Hi. Hi.
He's me. Hey, can we chat with you for a second about a case we're working on?
Sure.
We're following up on an old case. I don't know if you've heard it in the news at all. It's a homicide that happened at Westdale Mall. Michelle Martinko, is that something you've ever heard of?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you see it in the paper or anything like that?
No. Long time ago.
Long time ago. I got a business card, by the way. I should probably give you one here. What do you remember hearing about it?
Just it was a big deal.
A big deal. I mean, do you remember what happened?
Not exactly.
Like, do you remember who the victim was, anything like that?
Not really.
We had an article run in the paper the other day, and so we just got a bunch of new leads and stuff like that. People calling in, giving us tips and whatnot, stuff like that. Well, long story short, your name came up.
He don't seem too surprised. That nigga like, it did, didn't it?
Strange.
Yeah.
That's strange. Strange.
Yeah.
That's strange, those pictures.
I know.
Do I look like that?
Well, I kind of
Hole in the
think
shirt?
you do a little bit.
Those are the only pictures you had? Those,
Yeah, like, he trying to peep out some shit. That's the only pictures you got. I don't really look like
those
that.
three?
Yeah.
Oh,
You know better than we would if you look like that in 79.
well, I don't think I ever looked like that. I was a good looking guy.
Know going in that this is probably going to be a match.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why would that be?
The reality is we're not here on a whim. We're here to confirm what we already know. I already collected some DNA from you that you got rid of before. And so
Look at his
I'm
face.
telling you, Jerry, I already
Whole
know
face
that your
change.
DNA is going to match the DNA that we have on
Just
file.
one heck I got rid of.
How would we get your
Fingers
DNA
were
at the
twiddling.
crime scene there, Jerry?
I don't know. Test it, see if it is.
No, we did.
We did that already.
How would it be there, Jerry?
We know it's you,
I
buddy.
don't know.
What happened that night?
Wait for the test to come back.
Jerry,
I don't think it did.
it did.
I don't think so.
Okay. Did you murder someone that night, Jerry?
Test the DNA.
Jerry,
I'm telling you,
the
we
DNA.
tested it.
why
It's
did
you.
this happen, Jerry?
Test
What
the DNA.
what happened?
I don't know.
You
I was
don't.
not there that night.
We know you were there.
Man, he about to cry. He don't want
The
to
wild
cry.
part
He know
is
it's over.
what we're not positive on.
No, we
He
better
know it's
prove I
over.
was
He
there
about to
first.
cry.
Well, I don't think that's a problem.
Okay.
Okay. Or have any mental episodes in your life or anything like that where you can't remember?
I don't know. I might have.
Man, they got
No. Can't think of the word where you hit your head.
Concussion.
Concussion.
Burns seemed confused and defensive when shown the DNA linking him to Michelle Martinko's murder. He claimed he didn't know how his DNA got there and vaguely referenced blocking out traumatic events. The detectives emphasized the 1 in billions match, marking the first real breakthrough in over 40 years.
It's possible this happened. You're not remembering it. That's how I came to this conclusion.
I don't know. I'm sure something like that would be
I just wonder if people.
possible to block out.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it would be possible. Blacked out.
Say block out.
What's that?
Block out.
You think you might have blacked out?
No, I
Nice
didn't say
and blacked
black out.
out.
I said things, you block things out of your memories.
Oh, you block things out. I gotcha.
39 years after
Which
Michelle
is a real
Martinko was
thing, but
brutally
nah, Nick. What the fuck does he got on? What the hell is that?
murdered in a Cedar Rapids mall parking lot,
The fuck is he
investigators
getting in the way?
finally arrested Jerry Burns, a seemingly ordinary Iowa man. For Michelle's family, it was a long-awaited moment of relief. Decades of uncertainty and unanswered questions finally had an answer. Her parents, however, had passed away long before the killer was identified,
fucked up.
never learning the truth. Their
What about
loss
the other
made the
family?
arrest
She had other family members, brother, sister, uncle,
bittersweet.
somebody who cares.
For Burns' own family, a husband, father, and respected local businessman, the news was a devastating shock. They could not believe that someone they loved could be capable of such a horrific act. Friends, neighbors, and the small Iowa community were equally stunned, as Burns had lived an unassuming life with no prior criminal record. When confronted with the DNA evidence in 2018, Jerry Burns never admitted to killing Michelle Martinko. He expressed confusion and claimed he didn't know how his blood ended up at the crime scene. He vaguely mentioned blocking out traumatic events, but he never confessed. Despite his denials, the DNA spoke for itself. The trial that followed was intense.
I'm with him though, man. You gotta deny that shit to the end. That's what I tell him for. Don't break down that. Then you've been denying it the whole time, and then you break the They obviously needed that confession, but
And emotional.
stay solid the whole
Generations
time, brother.
of Cedar Rapids residents, along with Michelle's friends
Even
and
if you
family,
did do it,
watched closely as the
whatever.
decades-old evidence, now reinforced by modern DNA testing, was presented in court. The jury deliberated and ultimately found Jerry Burns guilty. After more than 40 years, Michelle's friends, family, and the investigators who
It's fucked up because you feel like you a whole changed person that was 40 years ago. Now, you one of them people who've been still doing it throughout the 40 years. It's crazy. But if you did it that one time, no excuses. But it's 40 years later, you haven't had an incident. You like, fuck, you thought you'd moved on from that shit and come back and haunt you. That's crazy.
never gave up, finally had closure. While nothing could undo the tragedy of her death, her life, her courage, and her memory remain at the heart of this story. A testament to persistence, science.
The goodbye smile.
The last month or since the beginning of the year or so, when you were playing pinochle with Mr. Burns and you kept beating him?
Yeah, I remember that well because he had told me if I keep beating him in pinochle, he was going to have to take me to the mall.
Has Mr. Burns discussed with you his feelings regarding the potential outcome of his trial, or something he told to you about no matter what happens, what his feelings would be?
Yeah, he feels like no matter what happens in this case, that he wins because he had the opportunity to be out there with his family all these years.
When was it,
Oh, I figured dude looked different.
while
I'm
you
about to
were
say, he looked a
living
little
with
different,
Mr.
yeah.
Burns
I
in
guess this was
the
his
Lynn County Jail, did you decide that
cellmate. I was about to say
you were going
roommate.
to tell your
Cellmate.
lawyer about what Mr. Burns had been talking about?
I decided to approach my attorney after
Ah,
Mr.
so that joke make a little more sense now. Nigga said, you keep beating me like this, I'm gonna have to take you to the mall. That's fucked up. It ain't funny.
Burns
That's
made the
fucked
comment
up.
about he was going to have to take me to the mall if I kept winning pinochle.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
That's when that was it for me.
Why was that the final straw?
It disgusted me.
That must everybody know his case.
You have a daughter?
Everybody in there be knowing everybody case and shit, be knowing if you snitched or not. So nigga knew his case, and for you to brag about it like that, nigga, like
Yes, I do.
How old is she?
Question is, what was you in jail for? What did you do, nigga?
She's 17.
Yeah, Shawty was 17.
Jerry
Killed
Burns was charged with first-degree murder. There were no additional charges, no sexual assault, no robbery, no other crimes connected.
I'm about to say, we still don't know why he did it, though, huh?
Evidence was clear. DNA placed him at the scene, and the jury
What was the
agreed.
reason?
Jerry Burns was found guilty, and the court handed down a life sentence.
I don't remember much of that day now. What I remember most
Brother-in-law.
are the 39 Christmases with our little family, diminished by one. And that year, 1979, Michelle's presents were unopened. We deeply regret that Michelle's dad and mom aren't here to know what their surviving daughter knows. That
Nigga, we
the
want to know.
defensive wounds on her hand show it. He was
Why-
sure would
why
protect
did
his
they do it?
identity. He picked Michelle out of the crowd of Christmas shoppers that night, stalked her, and killed her.
For nothing, huh?
Janelle and I are comforted, and we can all be comforted by the fact that if it wasn't Michelle that night, it would have been some other young woman. And that young woman is surely
Was he just like on the, just had the feeling to kill somebody? What the hell? Oh man, I guess we ain't getting the answer. Like I said, I be wanting to know why. I be wanting to pick their brain and see what was the reason. They usually break down at the end of the interrogation room and really tell what happened type shit. So that's what I thought was gonna happen. It didn't, but that's a sad case, man.
Do it for the boy, just
Y'all hit
do
the
it
like
for the
button, man.
boy,
Support
just
a
do
nigga.
it for the boy, do it,